Hey Megan, I'm on my way to Camp Crystal Lake, but cell service is spotty and my GPS crapped out. I can't find this damn lake. I'm on Carpenter Road. I'm trying to get to you. I'll be there soon, hopefully within the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'm out in the middle of the frickin' woods on a dirt road. Alright, I'll see you soon. Bye. I can't find this damn road. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. And today we're on to Friday 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. After Part 5, the less than warm reception by the fans because Jason wasn't the killer in Part 5, Paramount's mandate to Tom McLaughlin, who came in to write and direct this film, was you have to bring Jason back. And that's exactly what they did from frame one. That was the whole goal, to bring Jason back to life and make Jason the killer once again, which Tom McLaughlin did wonderfully. I love the opening scene of this film. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Now, for this film, Tommy Jarvis is back, his third film in a role, that character anyway, but they went to a different actor because John Shepherd didn't want to come back because he was a born-again Christian, I believe. It's why he didn't want to come back, so he had objections to the material. So they hired Tom Matthews. Now, Tom Matthews was in Return of the Living Dead, in Return of the Living Dead Part 2. He was on Married with Children, other things over the years, but I always enjoyed his performance as Tommy Jarvis the most out of the three films that character appeared in. Don't get me wrong, I like Corey Feldman in Part 4. I just think Tom Matthews, for the adult version of this character, is definitely the best version of this character. Jennifer Cook plays Megan. She is the daughter of the town sheriff, played by David Keegan. He is Sheriff Garris, a nod to Mick Garris. And C.J. Graham plays Jason, although he wasn't originally Jason. They had another gentleman played Jason at first, a gentleman named Dan Bradley. But after a day or two of filming, Paramount wanted him replaced with somebody else. And C.J. Graham was selected to play the role, even though he had no acting experience, no stunt experience. I believe he was running a bar or a nightclub in LA at the time, but he was an ex-Marine, and in the movie you could tell he's a big hulking dude, and seems like a really cool guy. I've seen him speak a couple times at horror conventions, and I just saw him back in May at Carolina Fear Fest. Seemed like a really nice guy, down to earth, and just a cool dude. And this movie had a budget of $3 million, and upon release it made 19.4, which is a little less than Part 5. Part 5 made 21.9, but I think this brought the quality back into the franchise after Part 5. It's an hour and 26 minutes long, it's rated R, and it came out August 1st of 86, which might have hindered the box office a little bit too, because 86 had a lot of big movies out that summer, and Paramount rushed this into theaters in the summertime, hoping they can capitalize. I think that's what kept the box office down. They should release this in September or October. And right from frame one, we could tell there's a better director behind the camera for this film. Nothing against Danny Steinman, but I always felt like Part 5 was not very well directed. Definitely an upgrade in directing here with Tom McLaughlin. And right in the beginning, he's going for a gothic look. Even in any interviews you've seen with him, he was going more for a gothic horror type scenario. And right in the beginning, we get the cemetery with Tommy going with his confidant from the insane asylum. They both get out of the insane asylum after what happened in Part 4. They don't really reference Part 5. It's more about Part 4. And Tommy wants to see and make sure Jason's dead. And they go and find his grave, and they dig him up, and Tommy goes as crazy, grabs an iron rod spear off the fence and continuously stabs Jason's body. And then he leaves it in, goes to get the gas can. That's when we get the Frankenstein rebirth of Jason with a lightning bolt hitting the rod twice. Jason opens his eyes, and Jason's back and stronger than ever. This is pretty much what people like to say is Zombie Jason or Terminator Jason in this one. And he is definitely more powerful in this one. Definitely unstoppable force. And Tommy goes to the police station. His friend gets killed, and the police, by Sheriff Garris, won't believe Tommy. Throw him in jail, thinking he's out of his mind. And pretty soon Jason is back to his killing ways. Now, this film, right from the get-go, we get the cool opening in the cemetery, which is awesome. I love the staging, the lighting, everything, the way it's directed. Yes, the lightning bolt thing is definitely out of Frankenstein, and even Tom McLaughlin has said he took it right from Frankenstein, which I have no problem with that. And then we get that James Bond title sequence at the beginning of the film, which I think is pretty cool. And I think it lets you know that we're about to have some more fun and not take it as seriously and have some fun with this film. And Tom McLaughlin definitely has fun with it. Definitely a lot of in-references to other films. Karloff stores in the film. We have reference to Cunningham Road, which Sean Cunningham directed the first film. The town of Carpenter is mentioned by Sheriff Garris, which is not John Carpenter. So there's a lot of in things to other horror films and horror directors, which is pretty cool. It's definitely a little bit more meta than any of the other Friday the 13th films. And by this point, Tommy's only goal is to stop Jason. And he comes to the realization the only way to stop Jason, at least from what he's read in these books that he took out, is to put Jason back to where he was killed originally, which was drowning in Camp Crystal Lake. And Megan helps him get the stuff he needs, which really isn't that much except for some chain and a padlock. He makes it sound like he needs all this stuff, but he really doesn't. Just needs two things, chain and a padlock, and then a big-ass rock that he finds at Camp Crystal Lake. We see Jason kill a bunch of different people in interesting ways, and then Tommy lures him into the lake, gets the chain around his neck, and Megan offs Jason with the boat propeller to the face, and Tommy and Megan survive along with a bunch of other young children that were at the camp, which is the first film in the franchise, I think the only film in the franchise, where there's actually little kids at the camp. All the other films, there was never any kids there. It was just the teenagers that were the camp counselors. It was always, the film took place before the kids arrived, or in part two was more of a training camp for counselors. So this is actually the first film where there's actually children there. And Tom McLaughlin said he wasn't going to have Jason harm any of the kids. He wasn't willing to go there. But we do get some awesome kills. We get the RV scene. It definitely expanded the scope of the film, even though they were on a limited budget of only $3 million. The RV crash after killing Court and the other chick, twisting that girl's head off, breaking Sheriff Garris in half, which is awesome. Obviously, the MPAA was still gunning for the Friday the 13th franchise. This one, and definitely Part 7, which we'll talk about next week, where they butchered that film on John Carl Buechler. But still, the kills are a lot of fun. Now, the 3 beheadings to the 3 people playing paintball in the woods, where he cuts off 3 heads at once, that got cut back dramatically by the MPAA. That was a much more elaborate gag, and we barely see it. So quick cut, you don't really see much of anything. So yes, the MPAA did make them cut down the gore in this film as well, which was standard MO after Part 4, although I think Part 4 they got hacked by the MPAA a little bit, but Part 7 got it worse, which we'll talk about next week. Overall, this is a very fun Friday the 13th film, and actually, after rewatching it again, I used to rent this a lot. This and Part 4 were probably the 2 entries that I rented the most from the video store when I was a kid. And this one's definitely one, he definitely injects the fun into this film, by far. And I like CJ Graham's performance as Jason. Not my favorite, but I still think he's up there in the top 4, top 5, definitely. Overall, this is just a fun Friday the 13th film. It's a brisk pace, hour and 26 minutes long. There's no fat on this film. We hit the ground running with the cemetery scene, and we're off to the races. We get enough story in there, what happened to Tommy after Part 4, and we hear flashbacks in his head of him killing Jason in Part 4. So we're definitely connected to the 4th one. Again, they don't really mention the 5th one. I think Paramount wanted to forget about the 5th one after the backlash from the fans on that one. And this was their way of bringing Jason back. And this is a really fun film. For a 6th installment in a franchise, this is a really well done Friday the 13th film. Yes, there's things that don't make a whole lot of sense, but it's very well directed by Tom McLaughlin. We get the awesome rock soundtrack with Alice Cooper contributing 2 or 3 songs to the sound. I know definitely 2. I don't remember. I thought there was a 3rd one. Maybe it was only 2. And they play, Teenage Frankenstein during the film, especially the RV scene. So that was always cool. And in the video, The Man Behind the Mask with Alice Cooper, I remember that on MTV back in the day. It's just a very fun slasher film, and definitely one of the better films in the franchise. 4 is my favorite, but this is right up there. This is probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite film in the franchise. I would give this one an 8 out of 10. This is a really well done Friday the 13th film. You got to give the hats off to Tom McLaughlin. He really did inject fun into the franchise, and he took Jason seriously, but didn't take the film seriously. And I love the nods to other films and other horror directors, and the black humor. I always enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it to this day. So yes, 8 out of 10 for Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. What are your thoughts on this sequel? Leave a comment down below, let me know. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, share this video, I greatly would appreciate that. I'm going to be off the rest of the week. I might have a little special video for Friday the 13th, I'm not sure yet. We'll see if I get it filmed, but I will be back next week for Friday 7 and some other reviews. Until then, bye.